showcase, how people should be acting in this business. No one is, holier than thou.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you
Right.
got to know where you stand and how to contribute to other people's, success. And, I had a radio show at UIC Radio. That's where I went to college.
Right.
And, I used to reach out to people all the time. So I know what that's like. I was executive producer for a very long time. I know what it's like to reach out to talent. So it does you no good to shun people. So
yeah.
Here I am.
So, yeah, he got back to me, man. We made it happen, man, and we about to have a banging show, man. So, without further ado, this is where I get my show started. Let's lock and load and get into these sports topics. I know you like the sports. I done seen your work. So, the first topic I want to get into is this Antonio Brown situation.
Okay.
He went to an arbiter to try to see if he can get his helmet worn.
Sure.
And he lost.
Yeah. I feel like, I think in that situation, I look at like Jordan, right? He used to wear his tight shorts underneath,
Right. He did.
underneath his real shorts, right? So for me, it's like, imagine telling Jordan he couldn't wear something that made him feel comfortable, right? So when I think about Antonio Brown, I think about a level of comfort. He understands how he's going to get hit in the helmet. He understands, all the angles, the ins and outs of it. It makes him feel comfortable, which, on a football field where people are traveling at a high rate of speed,
right?
You want to feel the most comfortable possible.
So are you on Antonio Brown's side with this?
I think because
Really?
If it was me, I would want that too. I'd want to wear my own helmet. You know what I mean?
What about the safety side? They saying it's because of health reasons that they made this change.
Sure. I think if you're a football player, you understand what you're doing. I play football at Lane Tech.
Right.
That's where I went to high school. And I understood in those moments, what kind of situation and the way I could potentially danger myself. As a matter of fact, there was a kid named Nick. My junior year, I couldn't play the first game of the season, and he ended up breaking his neck.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So you understand these things that you're going to be doing while you're
Right.
out there. But when I think about Antonio Brown, again, I just think it more so comes to comfort.
Right.
And I'd rather have my star player be comfortable
True.
than make him feel uncomfortable. Now he's thinking about the helmet instead of what route he should be running.
Did you ever think that he was going to walk away from the $30 million that he sent?
Never. Nobody's doing that, man. You got some legs, you got some arms, you're in good shape. Get that money, and I think ultimately he would have been there no matter what.
So was he just trying to cause a ruckus, just trying to evolve? If you had a job and they tell you can't wear these shoes no more, what you gonna say?
But if I'm the best person at that job, and I'm saying to myself, hold on, boss man, I'm the number one dude at this job, and this is what I need. See, there goes a life lesson.
Is he the number one guy in the sport, though?
No. On his team, and who his employer is. Employer's the Oakland Raiders.
But it wasn't with the Raiders. It was with the NFL.
Right, but it was trickled down through the Raiders organization. So he had to comply via the Raiders, what I mean?
Because if he didn't do it, the Raiders was going to get fined and penalized and that. But
I'm still surprised that you don't agree and feel like he should have some kind of right to wear his own helmet.
I guess I look at my job, and they got rules. And if I feel like I'm a good worker. I feel like I'm one of the best,
right?
Around my area anyway. But if I say, hey, I need to do this to perform my job better, they're gonna find somebody else.
Okay. I mean, I hear what you're saying.
But I'm shocked that you are on that side because, okay, for example, Tom Brady. There's been other players that said the same thing.
Right.
But it's two different approaches.
Right.
And I want your opinion on this too. You got one approach, Antonio Brown, raising ruckus, just saying and doing anything.
Sure.
Then you got Tom Brady, who got rings on top of rings on top of rings, who's saying, well, I really don't have a choice. If they tell me I got to do it, I got to do it.
Right.
Does that put a bad stigma on African Americans, so to speak?
No, not at all. I just think a closed mouth don't get fed, right? So I think at some point in time, and I've learned this just in my career alone, right? At some point in time, you see how other people are handling business and they're speaking out and getting what they want.
True.
So ultimately, at some point in time, regardless of what color you are,
right,
you need to go ahead and speak up for yourself at some point because it might not get changed. Look at the Rich Paul rule.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get to that too.
The boss came out and said something.
Yeah.
The masses spoke. It got changed. You know what I mean? So I think ultimately, for me, when you ask me that question, what are my thoughts on that? I say, no, I think Antonio Brown has every right in the world. That's what I'm saying. But if you perform and do well, if he takes the Oakland Raiders to the playoffs, right? If he makes their quarterback better, if he makes John Gruden look like a genius, then all of a sudden it's like, man, Antonio Brown, who cares about that? The helmet's working fine now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Now that you brought that up, is he going to do that with the Raiders? What's going to happen with that?
I've seen wide receivers make a difference on a team, right? Because you can bail out a quarterback.
Yeah.
A quarterback can loft the ball up the field. We know Antonio Brown got wheels. We know Antonio Brown can perform at a high level. So if you can be that, listen, we're from Chicago. We've seen terrible receivers forever. And we know that getting someone, even when we had like Brandon Marshall, someone that you could at least confidently throw it to and be like, man, he might make that catch. You know, so he can make them better than that on those 3rd and shorts. When you're 3rd and 3 and you don't need to run the ball, you could do a quick slant with Antonio Brown. He could potentially do that. So will he make them better? Yes. Will he get into the playoffs? Probably not.
I want to hear from the callers. If you want to call in and talk Antonio Brown, talk some sports with our special guest, Gabe Ramirez, and me, Suburbs 708-445-9922. Indiana, 219-933-9922. Chicago, 773-288-9922. Back to what you said. You said he got wheels. Speaking of wheels, speaking of wheels, this brother got frostbites all over his feet because he didn't go into this.
Or would you ever take like an ice bath or something like that?
I have not been in there. I have not been in there before. I don't even want to do an ice bath.
That's what I'm saying. I see like Kevin Hart does that with athletes sometimes.
I'm not doing that. Would you do that? Have you done it before?
I'm the type of person that like I'll put my little baby toe in and then be like, oh,
yeah, that's
and
it.
then I'm out. Yeah,
that's all I get.
I couldn't do it. But with the foot situation, you know, just wear the proper footing, be straight, and then you know you wouldn't have anything to worry about. But I heard a rumor that he just didn't want to participate in training camp, and that was it.
So you just gonna get frostbitten on purpose?
Man.
So you don't want to participate?
Old picture. Who knows?
That's great. We got our first caller. Let's hear from a caller. Thanks for calling the Allen Powell Show. What's your name? Where you from? What's your comment?
What's up, man? It's Ray Sampson from the South Side. And I think your boy tweaking about the helmet, though, man.
Say it one more time.
He said he thinks I'm tripping about the helmet?
No, I think your boy tweaking about not wanting to play because of the helmet.
Oh, Antonio Brown?
Yeah.
What you mean? You say it's too much money to mess up?
I mean, he acting like, he a professional athlete. What is he like, Lil Bow Wow with the shoes on Mike? He switched the helmet, he ain't gonna be the same player or something?
Right. But
we don't know. We don't know.
Right. But I do agree with the sentiment that players are creatures of habit. So he's used to that. It feels like he give him superpowers. He's comfortable with it. So I get it to that point. But I'm with you, caller. You gotta go with the flow.
You gotta go with the flow, man. Next man up anyway, man.
Well, that next man ain't
football. You know, I played football all my life. You might get new pads every season.
He's right. He's
so
right.
I really don't. To me, he sounds insane, man. He sounds crazy.
Yeah, he is.
So I'll be looking at the gold mustache and all the other weird shit going on.
He knows it. Look, the golden mustache is absolutely ridiculous. Let's be honest. Yeah. I mean, it might be worse than the feet, but when you see him with that thing, you're just like, gee, what are you doing? Or at least he could have frosted his tips a little bit. Yeah. Then he might have been a little better off.
Yeah. I thank you for that call, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. All right, keep it up.
All right, thank you, bro. Yeah, man. I think when he's talking about he ain't get paying for like we not dealing with the same money here. We not dealing
at
with
all.
The same. But I get what he's saying. So moving on, man. We're going first here. Word on Edna Street, Gary, and the number is 219-614-0872. Go check them out. Low price appliances. So moving on, man. You mentioned the Rich Paul rule.
Yeah.
So we had some news to come out today that they amended it, that they changing the bachelor's degree part of it. They scratched that part. And so what are your thoughts about the rule in general?
Yeah, I think initially, I didn't graduate from college till I was 28.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I feel like if somebody were to tell me that I was incapable of doing a particular job prior to that moment, I think you're absolutely ridiculous, right, to say something like that. And I think it's no different when it comes to being an agent, right? I think that's what happens a lot of times. And, I speak to the youth a lot here in the city, you know what I mean? And for me, it's like, that's what happens a lot of times is that people have this skill set, right? And sometimes they use it in the wrong way.
Right.
When you can take that same skill set, in this case, bringing people together, making business deals, you know what I mean? And if you can take that skill set and just apply it to something else, who's to say you need an actual degree to do that? That's like saying, a carpenter needs a college degree.
Right.
Like they're not worthy of that. A police officer for a very long time didn't have a college degree. And, to say that they need, you know what I mean?
Right.
I can be a police officer, but I can't be an agent for a kid.
Right.
Like
you can go to war, but you can't be an agent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. So for me, in that instance, it was kind of, it made you upset. I didn't necessarily make the connection initially to Rich Paul, but then once people started talking about it, and then you're like, oh, okay, we see what's going on here. Because Mike Wilbon, right, his opinion initially was that, anybody who he would turn to for that type of advice would have a college degree. That's what he was saying. So, but then once he spoke, to his people around him, then he said to himself, no, but you're absolutely right. That should never be a barrier to entry at all.
Right. I might have been the first person to make the connection because I said this on the last show. I said, y'all know what this is, right? This is the league and the rich folks trying to stop LeBron from running everything. Because we all know how Rich Paul got in. LeBron, that's his boy, hooked him up. We got a phone call. We're going to take this phone call and we're going to get right back into it. Thanks for calling the Allen Powell Show. What's your name? Where you from? What's your comment?
My name is Ernest Coleman. I'm from the south side of Chicago, the Boynton Park area, on 91st and Aberdeen.
Okay.
My father did what he can for these people. He did, and I did what I can. I love him. I did what I can.
933-9922, Chicago, 773-288-9922. Y'all, this is not the call in. I need to get something off my chest. We talking a little sports, trying to have some fun. If you got some animosity towards something, maybe you got to talk to a counselor or something. Because my producer is not the counselor, and I'm not the counselor. So do what you got to do, man. But we talking a little sports here. So back to Rich Paul.
Yeah.
I knew this was all about LeBron. You're not just about to going forward. People is not going to be just popular. Hey, you know what? I'm just going to hook my boys up with a job.
Sure.
But that's how the world works, though.
Yeah, I think at a certain point in time, early in with agents and athletes, I think that there was a time where they held all the cards, right? Like if you wanted a shoe deal, you come to us because we got the connection with Gatorade, we got the connection with everything. And I think that now in a social media world, right, where there's so much synergy amongst different enterprises. Not anyone has access to that, right? Like if someone, like for me, let's say if I'm endorsing 3 products, right? I still have an in with those people,
right?
I'm not an agent, I'm not an agency, but if I see somebody who I think I could, maybe plug them up with them and maybe make some money, I'm the same way. That's the American way, being a liaison. You know what I mean?
It is
between the middleman getting paid. That is literally the American way, right? So I mean, it's unfortunate that they had that stance.
Yeah.
I think what was also weird is because Rich Paul's still gonna make his money.
Yes.
Like even if they let that ride, right? Like he's still gonna make his money off LeBron, off Anthony Davis. Like I think it's
Draymond Green. Yeah.
Like he's gonna make his money off those people. You know what I'm saying? So and then once these people finally get to college and they don't have to work with the guidelines within the NCAA rules, they're still gonna come to him anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So but what I think though is that Rich Paul's opening the door for so many young people, right, in that field, and you wouldn't want to hold them back by having that in place at all.
Speaking of LeBron, I neglected my number one question I start off the show with.
Oh.
Good enough. Well, I don't even have to ask. That's my number one question I ask to the guests. Are they LeBron fans and is he the GOAT? And
we want to go through all of them. I would love this. First and foremost, I think it's like I hate the Packers.
Okay.
Right. But I always appreciated Brett Favre.
Right.
What they did.
Right.
You're a good quarterback. That's cool. But I hate you. I hate your team. I never want to see you succeed.
Right.
Things like that. Right. And then when it comes to LeBron, I think I'm like, is he talented? Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, who's gonna hate on LeBron and be like, nah, he's a bum.
Right.
You know what I mean? But is he the GOAT? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You play a one-on-one game. There's people with heart and there's people without heart, and that's really what it boils down to.
Boom! You said it right there. We got another caller. The heart is that's it. Thanks for calling the Allen Powell Show. What's your name? Where you from? What's your comment?
17. He's now the vice president of the company. You know what I mean? So he's been at that job for so long. So it's like, and he runs into these situations often where people, he's in a room with a bunch of suits that have, they have their formal education, but he understands the business side in a way that they could never understand it because he's been there from the ground floor. And I think, again, this is no different. If you've been working with a guy like LeBron James, you've been around so many companies and organizations and people that work and account executives. You've been around so many of those since you've been 17, 18 years old. You know what I mean? And here you are almost 20 years later. Like, geez, who has a better resume or who's had a better experience and upbringing than a guy like that? You know?
Look at how many jobs, like in the NFL, they worked their way up. Quality control, then coordinator, head coach. They didn't say if you had a degree, you worked your way through the ranks.
Mike Spoelstra.
Yeah.
A film guy, you know, the head coach for the Miami Heat, started off as a film guy, and now all of a sudden, you know, you get to the head coaching position. I mean, you know, like I said, you just many paths to get to the same position, but everybody has their own.
I told one of my childhood friends, he was nice playing basketball. I said, man, you make it. I know I wasn't making it, but he had skills. I said, bro, you make it, man. I want to be your agent. That's all I asked. And I wish somebody would have told me I couldn't be his agent because I ain't had no bachelor's degree.
Right.
That brother, we made an agreement when we were childhood friends.
We shook on it.
Yeah. I don't even know if he agreed to it, but I agreed to it. So I was gonna do it.
Wait,
but
did he make it to the league?
He didn't make it, but he got skills though.
Okay,
he got skills. He played some college ball, but yeah, he got some skills, man. But yeah, I definitely made that agreement. I don't know if he agreed to it or not.
He might not remember it.
Yeah. So now we're gonna take this show into a little different turn. I'm gonna get into a segment called "A Day in the Life of Al." You ever wonder what happened in a day in the life of Al? Well, because this is your first time on the show, what happens is I just tell you what's been going on in my life.
I like it.
And I've listened to your show. You all talk about different scenarios, so I think this would be great.
Of course.
So in this episode of A Day in the Life of Al, on previous shows, I talked about how one time I did stand-up comedy. And my co-host was like, What you did stand-up comedy? You ain't never made me laugh, yada, yada, yada. Seemed like a little hate, you know what I'm saying? Seemed like a little hate going on. But they was like, well, can you do something on the spot? I'm like, man, look, I came here to do a show. I'm not here to do comedy today, you know. But I went to this comedy show, and I'm here to make an announcement. I will be coming back. I will be coming back. I don't know when, I don't know where, but going to that comedy show made me want to get back up there again.
You feel like you were as funny as those people, or it just kind of gave you like the itch?
I felt like I could have definitely been either a headliner or one of the
got paid.
Yeah. I mean, he had a good list, but I felt like
and not have that, or at least that should be a goal of yours.
Okay, there you go.
Fair enough. See, compromise.
Hey, you just helped me out. There you go. I'm gonna make sure I have something on deck at all times in my hip pocket.
Yeah.
In my hip pocket, I'm gonna have it. One more question: A Day in the Life of Al, and I think you can talk about this as well. So, one time at my job, we was having this conversation about men putting gas in their wives' cars.
Okay.
And I talked about how I put gas in my wife's car.
Sure.
And the guy that was sitting in front of me said, "You do what?"
Yeah.
He said, if I buy the car, I'm not putting gas in the car. He said that must be a black thing.
Oh, what the?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And so it was other people around, and they was saying, my husband do this and yada yada yada. So my question is, do you do it?
I think that's a do you love your wife thing. I don't think that's necessarily a black, white, brown, Asian. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a do you love your wife thing. Of course I do that.
But is it a standard?
I think if I had a daughter, Al,
yeah,
right, and I would look her in the eye and say, honey, if your man don't get out the car to pump your gas, that's a man you should not be with.
What about if he's not with her? Like, what if she just, because I have.
No, don't get me wrong. If you got to get gas, go ahead, honey. Go to. I'm not gonna say, hey, pick me up so I can go pump your gas. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're an independent woman. You could do that if you need to. But if we are somewhere,
right.
First of all, and then why is my girl driving? See, we got a lot of questions.
Okay,
here,
so you want to dig in? Let's dig in this story a little bit.
Why is my girl driving? License suspended?
No, she just hey, you're out at work. She got to make some runs or whatever. She's running low on gas. Should she go get the gas or bring the car home? Let her husband go fill the gas tank up for her?
I mean, I think that just comes back to love, right? I think that's at the core of everything,
right?
Because if your woman really loves you, right, and she knows you're at the crib, you had a long day of work, and it's a little bit of gas left, and she willingly brings it home,
right?
You know what I mean? For you to just handle it later, right? That's a love thing because she could do that. That's an act of love that I'm sure a lot of men would be grateful for,
right?
So for me, that's at the core of that. But then also, again, if I'm in the car with my lady,
right,
I'm definitely baby, don't you move.
That's definitely a standard. Yeah, that's definitely a standard.
Now I might be like, let me get that debit card. Pay for it, but I'll pump the gas.
Right.
That's for sure.
So my thing is, especially when it's nighttime, I want my wife to bring the car home. I'll go get it. I don't want her being out, whatever, thing like that.
Fair. Okay, at night. Okay.
I really don't even like her, just weirdos in general. Like, you know, I just go get the gas because there's too much stuff just going on around. But, yeah, he was like, I bought the car. I'm not going to buy the car, and she can at least put the gas in the car.
That's a good one.
So, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this then. So when you go grocery shopping and you put the groceries in the car, and she's like, I'm going to go down to everybody for sure.
That's interesting. All right, so that was just a quick twist. We're going to get back to these sports real quick. So, Bears had their first preseason game against the Carolina Panthers, and during the game, and I didn't even see this part because, you know, the backups was in. I didn't feel like watching the rest. But apparently Ron Rivera iced the kicker.
Sorry, okay, I heard about that.
He iced the kicker, and he said his reasoning was because he was trying to help the kicking situation.
I love it.
Now, what happens if, okay, you helped him out. Now you meet him in the playoffs, and because you helped him, now this guy done kicked the game, win the field goal.
If you're thinking like that in preseason game 1,
why you helping the other team out?
No.
This is competition.
Al, you're a tough guy, man.
This is competition.
We need to check your soul, man. That's what we need to do. You're a tough guy. What do you mean? If you're a former Chicago Bear player,
There you go.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So not only are you helping, not even helping. It's funny. It's tongue in cheek. It's a preseason game. You know they haven't picked their kicker. He has that little what's that? A Pepsi commercial?
Yeah.
Where he cracks the can. He already got. He's infamous for a commercial for it. It's more. It was building
funny.
up his character right doing that.
I give you that. It was funny.
So you're saying as a president of the organization, you would be upset that your coach did that?
Like, bro, them playing days is long gone. You with the Carolina Panthers now. You're not gonna say in the media, oh yeah, I was just trying to help out that kicking situation.
But see, he says helping the kicking situation, but let's be honest. In a real situation,
right?
If it were week 9 of the NFL season and that kicker was kicking that kick, you would ice him.
Yeah.
So you're doing the same. You're acting true to form in preseason as you would.
So are you saying it's impossible that the Carolina Panthers can play the Bears in the playoffs and that same kicker can kick a game-winning field goal and this same subject is not going to get brought up again?
Not saying it's impossible, but saying that he would do the same exact thing. Right. So in his mind, he's doing time management. In his mind, he's doing coaching. He's trying to outthink the guy. And I think what happened was he just kind of said.
You shouldn't have said it. You shouldn't have said it because I got a big problem. Because now if that kicker kick a game when you got to come in my office.
So what would you do then? Would you do the opposite then?
I would not say nothing.
No. I'm saying you call the timeout now.
Yeah.
So let's say they are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Let's say it is about to be halftime.
Yeah.
Are you game? That's what you're referring to.
Not
yes,
really.
sir. When you're talking about him saying
it wasn't bad, but the fact that you said I'm gonna help out this team in the same conference. It's not even in the AFC. This is the same conference. These two can actually meet in the playoffs. This kicker could actually be on the team. This situation, we just had a situation where the Bears missed the playoffs.
Sure. And you know what they did? They called the timeout and iced the kicker.
Yeah.
You want to hear my story? I know nobody wants to hear about the Cody Parkey. So I'm at the game.
You was at the game?
I'm at the game, right? And
you still here right now?
Listen, he's about to kick the field goal. I'm surprised I can't even talk anymore. No, so I'm at. I literally turn around and get down and grab my chair because I didn't want to see the kick.
Wow.
So all of a sudden though, I hear people cheer. So I get up, hyped up, and then everybody's like, "No, they called the timeout." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, I can't watch this. This is too much. Oh my God. So I felt like I didn't even get back down.
Right.
By the time I was like, man, what are we doing this? And like, as I'm getting back down, I didn't even get a chance to brace myself. I hear everybody go, oh. And I'm like, what? What happened?
Yeah.
What happened? Like, I'm like, and then I literally was silent, like the whole entire crowd.
Wow. You was at that game.
I was at the game.
And you still here right now today.
You know what? I love my Bears. I love my Bulls.
I'm saying you alive right now. Like you like you here.
Yeah,
like you made it.
It was tough. It was tough. I had to. That's a good story though.
So quick story. I had a similar story.
Everybody knows where they were at. When
yes. I talked about this on the show when it happened. Like I was literally like on watch. Like so as that same scenario is happening, I'm at home watching, and I run upstairs to my wife who's cooking.
Okay.
I turn into a little punk.
Okay.
I can't watch. You dug down. I ran upstairs to my wife, said, I can't watch this.
Oh, when the kick was...
Yes.
That's funny.
Yes. And same thing happened. The kick, I run back downstairs, and I end up watching the kick, and he kicked it good, but they called a timeout. I said, geez, I got to do this again. And so, once again, the kick happened again, and I was in straight silence.
Yeah.
And I was so distraught and depressed, we end up watching a show about tight end. Do you know what tight end is?
I have no idea what tight end is.
That's how you know how to fold your clothes in a neat manner. Yeah, I don't know if I said it right.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. I just didn't even put it out there. I'm like, oh,
That's what my night ended up being because of what happened.
That's that's pretty intense. Now let me ask you this though. When you're thinking about like the Bulls in the 90s, right? Losing to the Pistons, kind of, having that fire grow within because they knew they could, they wanted to, get over that hurdle eventually. Do you feel as though the Bears losing in the playoffs the way that they did added to their hunger for this season?
Yes.
Or do you think it's going to play mind games with them?
It's going to add to the hunger, but it's hard to stay healthy as they did last year.
Agreed.
And so that's the main thing I'm worried about. Other than that, I think
losing the Super Bowl, that is true. Hurts.
It do hurt.
That crushes you.
So what are you saying? You rather lose early than make it all the way there?
I'm trying to bring light to the situation. I'm trying to. My girls always tell me I'm trying to be positive like she is, and say that like, hey, this is maybe what could have happened. But I do think about that. I think about the Bears right now in the upcoming season.
Yeah.
And I say to myself, when they go into these games, maybe last year they didn't necessarily believe it. They thought it, but they didn't believe it. And I feel like this year going into these games, they're like, no, we are better than you.
Yeah.
And then they go out and prove it, and then that's when they become a Super Bowl winner.
What do you got them going this year? Have you got a chance to look at the schedule?
You know what? Yeah, of course. I think that I don't know if they'll necessarily be 12-4.
Right.
I think maybe like 11-5.
Okay.
Again, 10-6 in that window.
Yeah.
I think it'd be amazing if they can get to that place again. Can they? Yeah, but you've seen the schedule. It's tough.
Yeah.
They got a tough schedule. They're playing some really good teams.
Yeah.
And you know how it is in the NFL. It's constantly going down to the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Who has the ball at the end? And can our defense put us in a position to outscore a team? Week in and week out.
What are we going to do with this kicker situation? Because
it's difficult, right? Because the first field goal of the preseason he misses.
Yeah.
And I think everyone kind of just rolled their eyes.
I did.
And I think ultimately what you really have to look at is you have to be a realist when it comes to being a fan, which is that kickers don't kick 100%.
Right.
Right? No kicker does.
Right.
So I think you have to. It's kind of like your relationship. It's not going to be perfect.
Right.
There's going to be some arguments, but if you can have the foresight to say, hey, I know I'm going to get into some arguments, so I'm not going to let those affect me in the same way and still handle the business, which is making sure you have a successful relationship. I think the same thing applies to the kicking game with the Bears, where it's like, hey, let's not get down on whoever they choose.
Right.
Know they're going to miss some, but let's not leave it in the hands of a kicker at the end of a game, and let's be up by 7-10 points. Come on.
I know one thing. I'm glad they didn't bring that kicker Blewett to camp because you could not have that name. But
let me ask you, speaking of kickers, what did you think of the Minnesota Vikings giving up a 5th round?
I was just about to ask you. Yeah. We was in a running for that kicker. So I'm thinking they're not sold on the kickers we have in camp right now. We're still out looking for another kicker.
Yeah, I think ultimately you just want to bring the best person in, right? Regardless of the position.
Right.
And I think if you still have an opportunity to make your team better, then you always got to take advantage of that moment. Now, I also think that Ryan Pace is a smart individual.
Yeah.
And he's not willing to give up a 5th round pick. A 5th round pick, we've had some studs in the 5th round in the Bears drafts in the recent years.
Yeah.
So, one thing they say that Ryan Pace is really good at is draft. I don't want to kick it from there. I want to kick it from over there.
Yeah.
That's the guy I want on my team. We were just talking about LeBron and Jordan. Jordan will be like, put me 2 steps back. I want to kick that.
I like what you're saying. You keep bringing it back to Jordan and LeBron. Telling nothing but facts. All the LeBron lovers out there, y'all hear this man over here?
I can go all day.
Yeah. I'm glad. Ooh, man. If the Sportsologist, I got a co-host called the Sportsologist, and he's a LeBron lover, so to speak.
Opening day, Clippers, Lakers.
Yeah.
They just announced that.
Yeah.
Who wins that game? LeBron and Davis or Kawhi?
I'm rolling with the Clippers, too. I'm just rolling with the Clippers just because I sleep well that night when LeBron loses.
You want LeBron to go 0-82.
Yeah, if possible. If that was possible, yes. I love what he does off the court.
Sure, we love his school.
Yeah. But people be trying to tie that into the GOAT conversation. Like, stop it. You can't do that.
Different.
But moving on, another word from one of our sponsors. Hey, Rome's Property Maintenance. You need to get in contact with them. They've got your lawn care and property maintenance needs covered. They've done some work at my house, and they've done an amazing job. Great prices. If you need some work done, call them at 219-730-0263 or visit their website, romespropertymaintenance.com. Use the promo code 102.3 to save 10% off your first service. They've done 2 jobs, and they're great. Okay, got a phone call? Let's take this phone call. Thanks for calling the Allen Powell Show. What's your name? Where you from? What's your comment?
Hi, is this the Allen Powell Show?
Yep.
Hi, this is Jay Camp from Camp. What's going on?
What's going on, man? What you got?
Hey, so I wanted to comment on the Bears comment about when they missed the field goal last year.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to put no hunger in them because the Bears are just kind of used to losing.
What?
And yes,
Man,
yes.
You almost got hung up on.
We've been losing for a long time, and it's going to take somebody with some charisma and with a lot of talent to increase the Bears' speed.
Wins and stuff. I hear what you're saying. Let me ask you this. Who's your favorite team in the NFL?
I mean, I'm a Bears fan.
Oh, man.
Don't sound like it. Kicker.
I understand that, but when you have a Michael Jordan type mentality on your team, nothing stops you.
So those just grown trees, huh?
We got
You know what?
So those type of talents just grown trees.
I'm not saying that, but then you can find somebody who has the right mental ability just as well as a physical ability.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I appreciate the phone call. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks, man. Thanks for that call.
I think that, I think when you really do look at the Bears roster, they do got some gamers on the team.
They do.
I mean, you're talking about Tariq Cohen.
Yeah.
That guy wants to win and score a touchdown every single time. And he's charismatic, and he's super talented.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the defensive side of the ball, I mean, come on, I don't even got to. We got to mention
Already
Khalil
know.
Mack.
The
Right?
Mac.
The Mac man. I mean, he's talking about Roquan Smith, a super talented middle linebacker. You got Akeem Hicks, a run stuffer. You got Eddie Jackson, a ball hawk, top 100 player in the NFL. So we don't even need to talk about the defense. But when you're talking about the offensive side, I'll even take a step out and talk about the wide receiver.
Yeah.
That boy Anthony Miller is bad. Oh, are you?
I'm ready. I'm ready for him to break out, though.
Of course. Listen, it's unfortunate that people get injured.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm talking about mindset. What the caller was saying.
Yeah.
Right. Killers. Michael Jordan like mentality. He wants the ball. Throw it to me. I'll go get it no matter what. And those are the kind of guys that you want.
And Allen Robinson is a dog too.
Oh my gosh.
He balled out in that playoff game.
Throw the ball in the air. I want to catch it.
And he should be healthier now that he's coming out. Another year off the injury, the ACL. He should be even better as well.
And let's not forget the fact that this Bears team, a lot of those guys, that was their first year playing together.
Yeah. First year head coach.
First year head coach. So now you have an opportunity. Listen, we all know that. You play in a system the next year, you're more comfortable. It's like having a job. Your first day at your job, you don't know nothing.
Right.
You got to ask a bunch of questions, you make mistakes.
Right.
That 6 months, a year in, now you're good. And I think the same thing's gonna apply to this Bears team with the upcoming season.
See, I wish that would have been you on the call instead of what Jay Camp was saying, man. Man. He brought down the negativity. You just picked it back up, man.
I appreciate him keeping the Bears accountable, right?
He ain't no Bears fan. He's undercover Packers fan, man. Talking about he a Bears fan. Another word from one of our sponsors. Check out D-Lens Beauty Escape. That's an independent Mary Kay beauty consultant who specializes in skincare and pampering. She has the best niche for creating a relaxing atmosphere and hosting relaxing and fun skincare pampering parties. To get in contact with her, 219-757-1488 or Doretha Thomas 79 at yahoo.com. Check her out. She does a great job. She's definitely fun. And we need y'all to support the sponsors that support us. So, fellas, go get your ladies some Mary Kay products, get a gift card or something, or just set something up with D-Lens Beauty Escape. Take care of your ladies, and maybe she'll take care of you later on that night or something. All right, moving on.
I think you definitely need to see what the move right there, fellas.
There you go.
To order it now.
Yeah.
Hide it. It's trying to get prepared for that season. All he did was take 2 weeks off. 3 weeks off for a little hammy.
Right.
And now he got to work his way back for like a month to get back in shape, right? So my thing is he in shape? Can he do that? Yeah. But can he throw a ball accurately with the team, with Khalil Mack running after you? Now, is he capable of being? Now, the other side of that question is he capable of being a backup quarterback? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen some trash backup quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
But the problem is they're not making a lot of money.
Right.
So again, when we talk about being fair and what you're willing to pay, it's like, are you willing to come back for a
league minimum or something
like that to be, and then maybe prove yourself?
Do you think that's stopping him, or is he still getting blackballed?
That's a good question. I mean, I think initially he was getting blackballed.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that was the case.
Yeah.
And then now I think it's just a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's not even about, being blackballed in the sense where I don't want Colin Kaepernick kneeling on my field.
Yeah.
I think it's like, if I take him on, like, I don't want to deal with the drama and the hoopla that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? But again, do I think he's talented enough to be in the league? Absolutely.
But this is my thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they come up with a settlement with the NFL?
They got paid. They got less than $10 million.
Usually, when you get a settlement, they want you to go away. So I don't know what's going on. He trying to get the cake and eat it too. He like, oh, I want the settlement, but I still want to play too.
Hey, you got to eat. Everybody got to eat. You know what I mean? Even if you got money in the bank, you still got to make some more money. And if you can get that little $1 million contract, I mean, $1 million, geez, you know what I mean? So I definitely understand what he's doing. But I also think that, it'll say a lot about his story. Right. Let's say he does come back. Mm-hmm. Let's say he does accept the role of a backup quarterback. So, kind of like in the Carmelo Anthony kind of a way where you understand you have a different role. Right. And let's say your number one gets hurt. Right. Jeez. Colin Kaepernick comes in, wins 4 games, takes you to the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, somebody sign up Denzel Washington to play him in the movie or something like that. Like that would be done. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I get it. And I think that someone should listen. I think what happens is he's not gonna make a roster right now. Right. But you know how it is in the NFL. Injuries. There's gonna be 2 teams that quarterbacks get hurt. Yeah. Their backup sucks. Yeah. And they're in the playoff hunt. Yeah. And it's like, well, what do you want to do? I remember the Bears did that with like Jeff George back in the day. Yeah. You know what I mean? So when you're looking at a guy like Colin Kaepernick that you can sign for a league minimum in the middle of the season, and how many people do that in the NBA? Right. I'm not gonna sign yet. Right. Baseball. Corey Kluber for the I forgot the dude's name. Mm-hmm. But the closer for the Cubs. Yeah. Craig Kimbrell. So they signed him in the middle of the season. Yeah. So those things can happen. True. So do I think he'll make a roster right now? No. Do I think he will later in the season? Potentially. Yeah. But only if it's the right marriage between the 2 teams.
Trump tweeted, said if he's good enough, he should get a chance. And is he just saying that? No.
Go Bulls. Go Bears.
No, go Bucks.
There you go. Thanks for that call, man.
Yeah, I think. All right. I think in that moment, it's you rarely see the president extend an olive branch, right? Especially to people of color and anything like that. And you would have loved to have, maybe endorsed him a little bit more, right? In that moment, and it's unfortunate that didn't happen. But he was asked the question, and I'm glad he didn't take another opportunity to really tear him down.
I don't think he had to. He did enough already. Right, so he just gonna say, oh yeah, if he's good enough, he should get a chance. He don't mean that. He just saying that knowing nobody's gonna sign him. He know that already. So I can just say whatever I want because I know it ain't gonna happen anyway. Right. And then
what happens when it does though? What's the president gonna say then?
Happen.
Oh, so you don't think?
No, I hope he does get a job, but I doubt it. I don't think it's gonna happen.
So why do you think it won't happen?
I think they got an agreement. They paid you. Okay, you said we was blackballing you. Okay, we're gonna pay you. Now stay away.
Right.
Stay away. You don't. No, I've never seen an agreement where you accuse me of something. Okay, we're gonna settle, but then I'm gonna let you come back too. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a lot of situations. I haven't seen.
No, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I think that I hear what you're saying. You're like, don't come back, and I can see where they wouldn't do it. But man, I'm telling you, the Raiders, Gruden, somebody like that, Yeah,
you're right. Maybe. Yeah, possibly. We got to take another phone call before we get on up out of here. Thanks for calling the Allen Powell Show. What's your name? Where you from? What's your comment?
What's good? This Cinco, man.
What's up, Cinco?
What's good, Al? Just get out this football practice with the kids, man. None of my coaches showed up. But that's why I ain't out.
Okay, well, and for all the fans of the show, y'all know that's Cinco, and he's a little weird sometimes, and, that's just him doing his thing. But, yeah, I appreciate you calling in, brother.
All right, man, go Lakers. Bye-bye.
Ooh. Hey, you heard my co-host, Jordan, over here. Peace out, brother.
In a one-on-one game, who's winning?
Jordan.
That's by how many points? Because so it's Chicago. So we're
what we going up to?
That's 32. We're playing 32. We playing 21. Well, whatever one you want.
It's going to be 32-20.
Okay. 32-20. I can see that.
32-20. Jordan is a stone cold killer. LeBron, he got the physical tools to dominate, but he ain't got the killer mentality.
Well, even outside of that, Jordan's gonna hit like 8 buckets in a row at some point. He's gonna go on a stretch,
and he gonna get in his head, and he gonna talk crazy to him.
Right. And especially if it's the rules like of today's age, where like you can't hand check Jordan or you can't. And Jordan
over Moses dying, so you got to be focused so God can tell you what He wants. You have to mourn for the appropriate time. Once again, he could not mourn for a long period of time. He had to mourn, then get to God's work. Sometimes if you mourn too much, you can miss your next instruction. If you remember David, when Saul died, David was right around the corner. So if they would have kept mourning about Saul, they would have missed out on David, which was a great king. Whenever you are about to transition, there will be trouble. Joshua was promised the land of milk and honey, but they still had to go in there and take it over. So whenever you're about to transition, there will be trouble, but don't worry about it. The trouble is training you for the place you're supposed to triumph. Transition will bring out your fears, but that's okay. If you are dealing with bad habits, take one day at a time, win that day. I'm going to skip a few because we got to get up out of here, but look, God put the fight in you. So whatever you're going through, go in and fight. God has your back. Once again, Joshua 1-6, that's when Joshua is taking the people to the land of milk and honey after Moses died. It's good scripture, good scripture in there. And so just check it out. I want to thank this brother Gabe Ramirez coming in here, man, shutting it down with me. Y'all check him out on B96 Monday through Friday, 5:30 to 10. Check him out on Sports Talk Live here and there.
Bears season's coming up, so Bears Unleashed on Friday.
Unleashed.
On Fox, man. Check it out.
On Fox. So check him out. Follow him on Instagram, Twitter.
It's, Chicago_Gabe.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I got to say, my girl's listening, and it's not. She wants me to stop talking trash about LeBron, so I got to go fight with her.
She like LeBron?
I know, man. I'm trying to change her.
Okay.
I'm trying to change her. She's young. What can I say?
Real quick, big announcement. I've been talking about it for a while, but we will start doing a second show on Thursday, strictly on YouTube. So if you want to catch more of the Allen Pals, we will be doing a second show strictly on YouTube. Don't miss it. Continue to follow us. If you want to sponsor a show, promote your product, like you heard all the sponsors, get in contact with me, and I will give you the details. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe to our D3T TV. D3T TV channel. We got extra content, interview, challenges where you can see us playing basketball, baseball, all types of sports, and interviews.